Hello everyone, this is Lola from afropotluck.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a very easy no-knead bread rolls. This recipe is really easy to put together and you don't even need any mixer or any physical strength to put it together, and the result is yet amazing. We are going to be using flour, and I'm going to be using the bread flour for today. You will need salt, yeast, sugar, melted butter, eggs, water and powdered milk. You can definitely use whole milk or reduced fat milk depending on what you have at hand. Now let's get started. I've got some warm water in this bowl, and to that I'm going to be adding 2 teaspoons of sugar and some yeast. Give this a very good stir. Then cover it up with a plastic wrap and set it aside to proof for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, the bubbles on top of this water and yeast mixture is an indication that the yeast is active. If this doesn't happen to your yeast, then the yeast is of no use for this recipe. I'm going to be cracking in 2 eggs to this, and I'm also going to be adding the melted butter. Now mix this together thoroughly until everything is well combined, then set it aside. For the dry ingredients, I've got my bread flour here, and to that I'm going to be adding the sugar, the powdered milk, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And at this point, I'm just going to be mixing all this together until it's well combined. Once that is done, I'm going to be pouring in the wet mixture. Now use a wooden spoon to mix everything together until the dry and the wet ingredients are totally combined. And at this point, we are going to have a very wet and sticky dough. Don't worry about that, that is exactly what we want, and by the time this dough rises, everything is going to change. So I'm just going to be covering this up for nothing less than 1.5 hours, or even a little more depending on how warm your kitchen is. So this dough has been resting for close to 2 hours now, but before I roll the dough, I will be greasing the baking pan with some melted butter, and I will also sprinkle a generous amount of flour over it. Now spread the flour around so that it evenly covers the pan, and you can simply use a good cooking spray for this. Once this is done, just set it aside. At this point, our dough is ready to be shaped into rolls. Simply open it up and punch it down to remove the trapped air. Once you are done removing all the trapped air, dust your hands and the dough with a very generous amount of flour. We are doing this because the dough is still quite soft, so we need enough flour to work with. Now I'm just going to take a small amount of dough and I'm going to roll it into a very tight ball. And if you are not so sure in judging the quantity of rolls that the dough is going to yield, you can simply turn it into a well-floured work surface and cut it with a knife into the number of pieces you want. Then begin to shape each piece into rolls. I'm rolling mine into mini sizes, as you can see, and this is going to yield about 24 pieces inside a 15 by 10 baking pan, but this will yield about 12 regular roll sizes in a 13 by 9 baking pan. Once all this dough has been rolled, I'll be brushing this with some melted butter, and this will give the bread a golden brown surface once it's baked. So I'm just going to be covering this up once again and I will leave it to proof for another 30 minutes. This has been proofing for 30 minutes and it's now time to take it to the oven. I'm going to be baking this at 350 degrees Fahrenheit and it's going to be baking for about 15 to 20 minutes until the surface becomes golden brown and it's done on the inside. The rolls are now done and it's time to take them out from the oven. The final step to take is just to brush it one more time with the melted butter. And this time around, this brushing is going to give the rolls a shiny surface and a super soft crust. Leave this to cool for a few minutes before serving it. And here is what it looks like. The texture of these bread rolls are quite different from that of the kneaded version. But notwithstanding, as you can see, they are super soft and very fluffy. And that is it again for today. Thank you all for spending your time with me. I have the full ingredients for today's recipe at afropotluck.com. You can go there to check it out. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel just in case you haven't done that already. Until next time, I'll talk to you shortly.